Andy Austin here, up in the attic with a rant. The plan this week to put out a rant every day. Today's rant, today's topic, life coaches, predictably, alphabet therapists, predictably, NLPers, all of them. No one escapes this one. And it is this flippant notion that seems to be espoused all across the internet in various training rooms and in multiple alphabet therapies that it's okay because the past is over and that the only thing that exists now are as problems. They're not problems, they're only memories, and so we can do something about that. And if you're holding on to the past, then it's time to let go. And all that anger and resentment, all that depression and misery can just evaporate because the past is over. The flippancy, the stupidity, the naivety, the ignorance of these therapists just drives me nuts. And a lot of them like to quote Bandler completely out of context. The best thing about the past is it's over. Well, in a lot of instances, that is the very best thing. It's not necessarily the worst thing about the past. People seem to get that misunderstood somehow. So it's a quote that's often given completely out of context of where it was said, but also they're misreading and misunderstanding the meaning of it. Now, for many people and for many problems, there's a thing called legacy. The past isn't over. There are things that have legacy from past events, even if it's 20 years ago, reverberating through to today. Now, this can happen on an individual level. It can happen on a national or regional level. For example, there are plenty of people in the UK for whom Margaret Thatcher, for those outside of the UK, British Prime Minister, late 70s into the 80s, for whom is absolutely the biggest demon that's ever walked the earth. And other people go, oh, get over it. Well, pop into those geographical regions of the UK, which were typical working class environments that were completely devastated economically by the Thatcherite policies. Now, for the rest of the country, especially people like myself in the south, we only benefited. But there were plenty of places, basically, they weren't the Tory voters, who simply didn't benefit. Now, okay, so that was years ago, decades ago. Yeah. Now, look, go into those areas, go to those places, and look at the generational effect of the economic impact on entire environments, onto families and family incomes, family heritage, and the social impact is just still reverberating today. Now, individual stuff. Well, there might be loss. That might be loss of an individual, might be loss of a loved one. There might be loss of income, loss of family inheritance, because sometimes, you see, we depend entirely on wealth and opportunity and resource being passed down through generations. And for some reasons, various reasons, some people get disconnected from those inherent benefits of having ancestry. Other things, there's often culpability and blame. People may be paying a price in terms of how they are handled by their community, how they're handled by the legal system, the justice system, and so on. The legacy that so many problems leave aren't just based in a perception of memory as an emotional hangover that the person needs to let go of. And yet so many coaches and therapists seem to promote this notion that the only problems that exist are the problems that exist in the person's mind, and they just have to let it go. All I can think is that a lot of these therapists and coaches are little more than spoilt brats who have lived a fairly privileged existence and haven't really come out of their own very tight little reality to pay attention to the actual world and to have a look at what's really happening in the real world. They haven't connected with real world services, the psychiatric services, the housing, homeless agencies, the various welfare agencies, all of the different charities, the mental health services, and so on. They just have this bizarre Pollyanna idea that they can heal every disorder, from an emotional thing all the way through to cancer. And I'll be doing the cancer rant later on. I'm still undecided whether I'll be naming the people involved, but I will be providing links to specific websites where people are claiming to have cured cancer using hypnosis, NLP, and so forth. If you have any suggestions about what I could rant about this week, do please stick it in the comment section, and I'll see what I can do.